Hello everyone, this is Review. Well, hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. Welcome one and all to the Unnamed Drink series. This is where I review beverages of all shapes and sizes, and I have no name for this series. That's why I give that awkward pause at the beginning of every video. Honestly, I could have come up with a name by now, but I just like doing that, so there you have it. And every so often I try out, especially these heavily requested beverages of sorts, and this time around, trying out a limited time release from Taco Bell. Now, it's no surprise whatsoever that, Taco Bell has another release out. This is what they do. Of all the big chains, they are probably the one that has the single most releases as far as volume is concerned these days. They just pump out new items like no one else, pretty much, at this point. And this is no exception to that. So this time around, instead of trying out food or anything that could potentially be qualified as food, or not, this time around, this indisputably is a beverage, a dessert beverage at that. Taco Bell has released the Midnight Cherry Freeze. It is described again as something as essentially like a snack or a dessert, and it's quite simple. It's a freeze, sort of like a slushie essentially, and what it is it has a blue raspberry base, and then it has a swirl of black cherry syrup. So it's supposed to be a combination of blue raspberry, black cherry. You could get it $3.70 for a regular, $3.80 for a large. So definitely, if you're interested in cost efficiency and you want something, you want the most bang for your buck, I could already say go with the large. For just 10 cents more, you get a whole lot more, so that's certainly the way to go. Here is what it looks like. This is the regular size. And you could sort of see, I hope you can anyway, at the top there, that blue, that has to be the blue raspberry. And then the darker color is that black cherry syrup. You can see how it's sort of in layers. The blue and then the black cherry right there. It's going to be interesting to see how this tastes. Interesting color-wise. So with that, I think I said everything that needs to be said, so let's try it out now. The Midnight Cherry Freeze from Taco Bell. It's going in. Not going to bother pausing the camera for this one, because I can't believe I'm already pretty much done consuming this, and it's not even 4 minutes in. I will point out, if you see right there behind me, it's a downed tree. That was a casualty of Hurricane Milton, unfortunately. It was a good tree, and got it checked out by, a tree service, and it couldn't be salvaged, essentially, so it's, gonna have to be removed at some point. And it's a shame, because that was a really good tree, and I'll miss it. Alright, one more sip. Well, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of this. And maybe that remark took some people by surprise, because, you know, you saw me sipping away at it, and I'm sure some folks watching that thought, oh, wow, he must really like it to be sipping, you know, on it like that. And while it does have some refreshing qualities and characteristics, and while there are certain aspects to this which are pretty good, there's an element to it that's probably a deal breaker for me. It might not be for you. I emphasize that right now. So you're just going to have to consider the following, and like I said, for some, myself included, it's a deal breaker, you know, and it would be the sole reason why I would not get this again. And you're just going to have to see, would it bother you as much as it bothers me? So, it's pretty simple. It's got the two layers, the blue raspberry and the black cherry syrup. The blue raspberry layer, you know, is obviously the part that you could see that was in the lighter blue color. That's perfectly fine. There are no issues with that whatsoever. It's very tart. I would describe it as very tart. You know, definitely does have that little bit of a raspberry flavor to it, but again, it is tart. Sort of a sourness to it, but again, that's what you come to expect with blue raspberry. I remember as a kid I always liked a lot of the blue raspberry flavored items and candies from one place or the other, and this blue raspberry flavor is perfectly fine for what it is. So the blue raspberry component in and of itself is not an issue at all. It's aesthetically pleasing, tastes fine. Again, it's a bit tart, which, you know, you just have to take that into consideration. That's not the issue. The problem is with the black cherry syrup. Now, this is the problem. I think we all understand when it comes down to all sorts of cherry flavors, it could be hit or miss. There are times where the cherry flavor, you know, it can be all natural, it could taste really good. There are times where it can be synthetic and it could taste really good. But for those of you who have had cherry-flavored beverages before, and I would wager that's pretty much all of us, I'm sure we've ran into this problem before. What happens from time to time when you get a very synthetic cherry flavor, be that a syrup or a drink or whatever? Sometimes you get this cough syrup taste, and it ends up tasting more like cherry cough syrup than anything else. Well, I hate to say it, but that's what we have right here. And I do not like that one single bit. That is a deal breaker to me. That is the single reason why this drink, the Midnight Cherry Freeze, is not something I would get again. And you could see, right, the black cherry syrup, there's a good amount of it there. And I know it's not in focus, I understand that, but you could see it clear enough anyway. There's a lot of it there. And it's not a sweet cherry, you know, that has to be mentioned. So don't think that this is sort of like, it's going to be like a Shirley Temple drink or anything like that, because it most certainly isn't. This isn't a sweet cherry syrup. This is not a sweet, sugary beverage. The whole thing is very tart. You know, very tart and sour all around. And you have to, again, understand that this, again, is not a sweet drink. But that black cherry syrup, the cherry taste is just off. It tastes like cherry cough medicine, and that's it. It's so synthetic. It just has that unpleasant cough medicine taste. I took a sip of it, and it immediately brought those memories back to me. It reminded me of, like, what is it? Something like Mucinex or Robitussin or something like that, where it's like, no, I don't want to drink a dessert beverage that tastes like that. I don't. I hate that flavor, and I hate when these sorts of artificial cherry flavors take upon this characteristic, which happens from time to time. Yeah, it ruined it for me, to be honest. You know, even though that more of a tart souriness, I would say, outweighs the synthetic nature of that cough syrup flavor, that's the second most prevailing flavor to it. And it's lingering, too. That's the thing. I still taste that cough syrup flavor in the back of my throat right now, and I feel like I sort of just guzzled down, you know, some cough syrup, and you know how that flavor is. I'm sure you don't like it, and yeah, that's what it tastes like. So that took a lot of the enjoyment out of it from me. I think that black cherry syrup is just too artificial, and it's too synthetic. And the blue raspberry and the black cherry, it sort of comes together into like a black raspberry flavor at the end of the day. But again, that note that I can't stop thinking about and I can't get past is how synthetic that cherry syrup is. Cough medicine. And that's no good at all. So, for that reason, and that reason alone, I would not get this again. You know, for the price, it's not bad. $3.80 for a large. It's okay for what it is. Tastes how it tastes. At least it looks alright. And the concept is promising. The blue raspberry is great. And that black cherry syrup, I truly believe that if they used a different combination, be that a different formula, a different supplier, a different provider, whatever it might be, for that black cherry syrup, something that tasted a little more natural and a little less overly artificial, this would have been really, really good, because I could easily see this flavor combination coming together into a delicious and very refreshing dessert treat. But as it stands now, yeah, too artificial, and that takes a lot of the enjoyment out of it. So, it's going to be a matter of interpretation and a matter of perspective. If you don't mind that cough syrup flavor, or if you like it, then you might love this thing. And if it doesn't bother you, then, you know, this might be worth getting. But for me, I'm going to have to give the Midnight Cherry Freeze a 4.6 out of 10. Because I cannot get past that cough syrup flavor. And when it's that prevalent and that potent, yeah, I can't get past it. And that's why it has the rating that it has. If that artificiality of it doesn't bother you, though, then this might end up being, you know, an 8 out of 10 drink. But, yeah, that was a deal breaker in my case. And this is something that has potential. Like I said, this is a combination that could work out really, really well. And it's still refreshing for what it is. It could be quite nice, you know, even on a day like this. Temperatures in the 70s, but it could be nice to sip at while you're sitting outside, you know, just taking in the day. But, yeah, it's a squandered opportunity, if you ask me. Could have been so much better than how it really is. I was excited going in, but they blew it with that one ingredient. Totally blew it. They could adjust it. I hope they do. This has a lot of potential, and I really hope that a day will come where they redo that black cherry blend, make it taste a little less like cough medicine, and maybe a little more like actually enjoyable black cherry. And if that's the case, this would undoubtedly be delicious. This might still be good for, like, the kids, you know, who might just want something really tart and sour and, you know, looks cool, and it might still be good for, again, you know, the kids out there. It might still be a little enjoyable dessert for them, but otherwise, I just can't see this being all that enjoyable. Oh well, you win some and you lose some, and that's just the way that it goes with Taco Bell, but nevertheless, like clockwork, they will have another item out before you know it, and I'll certainly be right back here again, trying out the next from Taco Bell. So we'll see what the future holds, and we'll see what comes next. And that's all that I have for you. Thank you for watching. That concludes today's edition of the Unnamed Drink series. I'm your host, The Report of the Week. Take care.